Hey forest friends, grab your passport. We're ready to go on a trip to Antarctica. So I want to show you the world map first. This is our last continent that we're going to take a look at. Because it's the last continent there is. I have to really back up. Okay, so here's the world map, and here are the continents that we've learned about so far. North America, that's where we live. South America, Europe, Asia, the biggest continent, Africa, Australia, the smallest continent, and then down here at the bottom is Antarctica. Now, what's weird is Antarctica doesn't look like that. It looks like that if we take the globe, which is a sphere like a ball, and make it flat like a map. It looks like it's just this clumped up piece here on the bottom. But if we were to take it and look at it from underneath, this is what Antarctica would look like. So pretend that we are underneath the Earth looking up at the Earth, and this is what we would see. This is Antarctica. And you're probably noticing that it's white. That's because Antarctica is covered, oops, I'm not centered very well, covered with ice. And you might even see some places here that look kind of blue with stripes. That's where there is an ice shelf going from one piece of land to another, and the water is covered with ice. Underneath Antarctica, all that ice, there is land, and that's why it's considered a continent. All right, we're going to take a look at our Antarctica book, and you're going to find out Antarctica is sort of special in comparison with the other continents, and as we read the book, I think you'll see why. So Antarctica, this is by Rebecca Hirsch. There's that table of contents again, that page that shows us which page number we can go to find out certain information. Welcome to Antarctica. Antarctica is an icy continent and it has no countries. So that's one thing that makes it special. There are no countries in Antarctica. And here we can see an emperor penguin in Antarctica. And I think a lot of people, when they think about Antarctica, the first thing they think about are penguins. Did you know there are 17 different species of penguins, and not all of them live in Antarctica? The largest pieces of land on Earth are continents. There are 7. Antarctica is the yellow continent on this map. So remember, we've taken a globe, which is like a ball, and made that map flat. So Antarctica looks flat here, but it doesn't look flat if we're looking at it from below the globe. People of Antarctica. Few people live in Antarctica. Most are scientists who come to study the continent. So here are planes bringing food and supplies to Antarctica. So nobody lives there all the time. Scientists live there, and they live there for long periods of time, but they don't call that their home all the time. They usually have a home they go to somewhere else in the world. Visitors also come to watch seals and other amazing animals. So here are crab eater seals resting on the ice, and you can see the people looking at them. Those are probably tourists, people who are interested in Antarctica, but who are just visiting and not scientists. Adventurers ski in Antarctica. Some ski to the South Pole. It is one of the coldest places on Earth. So here is Felicity Aston, and she skied across Antarctica in 59 days. And she had to carry everything that she needed for her journey on sleds behind her over the ice. I think that would be really hard. 59 days is about 2 months, so that's a long time. Amazing animals. Antarctica is famous for its penguins. Rockhopper penguins live by the rocky shore. And here's a rockhopper penguin. And they can hop from rock to rock, and they have these little yellow feather tufts on their heads. Killer whales, sometimes known as orcas, swim in the icy water. They hunt for fish to eat. A killer whale can swim very fast. Ice, wind, and snow. Antarctica has fierce winds that blow the snow. People must wear bright coats to see each other. So here are two scientists working in the transantarctic mountains. So can you imagine if they were wearing white coats or even black coats? It would be really hard to find them, especially if someone got lost. And so scientists in Antarctica always wear bright colored coats. You'll see that in all of these pictures. Antarctica has tall mountains. Most are covered by ice and snow. So here are mountains of the Antarctic Peninsula. Antarctica has thick sheets of ice. Giant ice chunks can break off into the ocean. These ice chunks are called icebergs. So here's an iceberg in the Weddell Sea. And you can see these people don't have on bright coats, but they're on a boat. So if they went out onto the ice, they would have to wear bright colored coats. Those are probably tourists that are just visiting, not scientists. Learning from Antarctica. Scientists come to Antarctica from many countries. They study the ice to learn about climate changes. That means how our weather is changing over time. Here, scientists are measuring floating sea ice. Scientists study the animals and weather too. There is so much to learn from Antarctica. Countries will always work together to protect this icy continent. So here are scientists studying a group of emperor penguins. These are emperor penguins, and those penguins are super tall. When they are adults, they are as tall as TK students. Modern marvels. Scientists in Antarctica work at the Princess Elizabeth Station, and there it is. Looks kind of to me like a spaceship. The stainless steel walls have many layers to keep heat in and to keep the cold winds out. Windmills on tall poles catch the wind to make electricity for the station. And this station is one of many. Different countries have different stations where they send their scientists to study and work. Meet a wandering albatross. Wandering albatrosses lay their eggs on islands around Antarctica. The male and the female work together to raise their young. They have the longest wingspan of any bird. That means from the tip of one wing to the tip of the next. They have the longest wingspan of any bird. They're definitely considered the biggest flying bird. And they fly for very far distances looking for squid and fish to eat. All right, that's the end of our book, friends. So I want to show you some animals, and they're all penguins, that live in Antarctica. So the first one is that emperor penguin. So this is what an emperor penguin looks like. And remember, these can be as tall, if not taller, than TK students when they're adults. But look at this. This is an emperor penguin chick, a baby. And they look different, huh? These are gray, and these are black and white. And so as they grow up, they start to look more like the adult. All right, let's take a look at another kind of penguin. And this one is the black-footed penguin, or the African penguin. So believe it or not, this kind of penguin can live in Africa, in the southern part. All right, here is that rockhopper penguin, and this one definitely lives in Antarctica. You can see the yellow feather tufts on its head. And it looks like, because if we put these two together, that this one's bigger, but this plastic one is bigger. In real life, they would be much, much smaller than an emperor penguin. And then this last one is called a Gentoo penguin. Like I said, there are 17 different kinds of penguins in the world. The smallest is called the fairy penguin. I don't have a plastic one of those to show you today, though. All right, I want to show you some of the cards that I made, and we'll start with the animals. They're the emperor penguins. So you can see in a real picture the difference in size between the emperor penguin adults and the chicks. Here's an Adelie penguin. These are much smaller. Here's an orca. or a killer whale, and you can see it popping up out of the ice. And a leopard seal. It's one of the kinds of seals that you might find in Antarctica. All right, now we're going to take a look at some places in Antarctica. So here is Deception Island. This is the Lambert Glacier. A glacier is like a river, but frozen. It still flows, but very, very slowly. So that's the Lambert Glacier and the Vinson Massif. Paradise Bay. When you see pictures of Antarctica and you see animals in the water, it's usually a picture of Paradise Bay. The Ross Ice Shelf. That would be ice stretching across places between land over water. The Lemaire Channel, and a channel would be water that's going between two bodies of land, two parts of land. And then Mount Erebus, which is the tallest mountain in Antarctica. And then this is a picture of the South Pole. And this one is kind of funny because the South Pole isn't a place that really exists where there's a real pole. But countries came together, and I'll show you in the next picture, and had a ceremony where they placed a pole where the South Pole would be. The South Pole would be the most southern part of our globe. And so they placed that pole right there and put all the countries' flags around it. And here is a picture of the flag ceremony where everybody was bringing their flags from their countries to put around the South Pole. All right, now I'm going to show you some different bases that different countries have. This is the San Martin base from Argentina. This is where Argentina sends its scientists to study. And you'll see the bases look really different. This is the Neumayer Station, Germany's station. To me, it looks like a ship. This is the United States station. It's called the Amundsen Scott Base. It has a big dome. And then this is the one that we saw in the book, the Princess Elizabeth Base from Belgium. And this one is the one that I think looks like a spaceship. So what do these bases look like inside where people live? Well, they don't look super comfy and fancy. They look a lot like my kids' college dorms. So this is what a bedroom would look like. Pretty basic. Bunk beds, a desk. This is a picture of what the kitchen would look like. Not everybody has their own kitchen. There would be one kitchen where a cook would do all the cooking for all the different people that live in the base. Here's food. You can't grow food or go to the grocery store in Antarctica, so food has to be shipped from elsewhere, and it comes all packaged up. And then the cook would have to make it into food that everybody would like to eat. Here's a picture of the clothing you might need to wear if you were in Antarctica. Lots and lots of warm gear. Boots, jackets, gloves, all kinds of clothes to stay warm and safe. Here's a picture of researchers, and you can really see, or these are also what we call scientists, you can really see their brightly colored coats in this picture. Some yellow, some red, some blue. Here's a picture of some scientists drilling into the ice to do some studying of the ice and what might be in there. And then here's a picture of a boat tour and a little seal popping up to say hello. That might be for visitors, not for scientists. All right, time for the passport. I want to show you my passport. This is our last one. We're doing the white stamp this time, and I drew a picture of the South Pole with a couple of flags around it. So now time for you to go do your passport. I hope you enjoyed this visit to Antarctica. See you later, friends.